Boy, we're the only two freaking reliable ones.
Yeah, I had to help Jessica out of bed.
Oof.
I mean, she didn't even have dinner, and then she wanted a cigar though, so I had to help her out of bed and help her on the couch on the deck. So it's up to her to get off. I mean, now she's there. You know, I'm telling you, that was a mistake right there. It's a comfy couch and it sits low, so I don't know how she's going to get up.
What's wrong with her?
She just tweaked her back a little bit, so it's just sore. You know, we spent. It took us 7 hours yesterday to assemble package, you know, a bunch of stuff for Amazon. You know,
yeah.
So I mean, we probably shipped about half of what we assembled. You know, I keep the other half on hand for my inventory. You know, and send the rest off to Amazon. So it was tricky. You know, it was one of these that, you know, showing her how to assemble. And then, you know, I show her like 2 or 3, and then she does like 2. And then I'm just watching her, and she's like, "Are you just going to stand there and watch me?" And I'm like, "I just like to get you through a few of them, you know." And next thing you know, 20 minutes later, she comes in the office. I don't know what's going on. These are wrong. Of course they are. Of course they are. Made on a $1 million precision machine. I've only made 25,000 of them, and we got one that's wrong.
Yeah,
that must be it. So
nothing to do with the oversight that you shushed away that could have answered some questions early on.
Yeah, you know, so I get out there, and the deck of the drill press is all angled down at like a 18-degree angle, and then I'm like, "Well, there's your problem." Well, I don't know what happened. Wasn't me. Oh no, I've been using that drill press for, I don't know, 12 years now. I've never adjusted the deck. It's never came out of level in its entire, and it's like a $10,000 drill press. This is not a cheap drill. I didn't pay that. I'm like, all right, let me figure out. I've never had to adjust the deck before in my life.
You may not know what happened. I can probably ballpark what happened, but that will cause more problems. I'll just fix it.
You know, and it was, you know, trying to, you know, I mean, obviously you've used a drill press. You know, I've got three handles on mine.
Yeah,
you know, so there's one that's facing towards you. So if you pull that one, you know, it's already past the point, so you can't get pressure on it. So you got to grab the second one and pull it down. Then it's too much pressure. Versus just bypass the first one, go stretch a little bit, grab that second handle, and then it's right in front of you.
Right.
And then you get all that pressure. So, yeah.
Last night and today have been interesting here too. And there's some, God almighty. Last night I said, too bad you're not going to be on the show, Jen, because there's just way too many ridiculous, funny stories that have happened over the last 48 hours of trying to pack and move while Jennifer's on call.
Now you're not actually moving. You're just packing up, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still.
I didn't. We're taking stuff to storage, or if you got a pod,
No. We got a garage. So my nice cigar lounge, it's gone.
Yeah.
Packed. And the plan was to bring down some of the items from upstairs that we're going to sell in a yard sale.
Oh, okay. You're going to get rid of some stuff.
Yeah. So that's why I sent that message. I'm like, it's just me and Joe. And Joe's comment was, well, you got to wait for Mom. Why?
Yeah, why? Do you want to make this difficult? Is that what we got to wait for? Is this too easy, Joe? Is that what you're saying? Like, hey, things are going super smooth. We should complicate it by bringing Mom in.
Let's throw a third loud opinion in this whole matter.
Yeah, why don't you just get Jessica on the speakerphone too? You know,
that'll confuse the shit out of you because Joe will listen to me, but when Jennifer starts chiming in, he gets confused. He's like, okay, do I go with Dad? Do I go with Mom? Dad, Mom, Dad, Mom.
Yeah.
But then you sent the message, which is 1 and 2 makes 3, unless what was that?
Oh, I think you said, what was that?
It was like
Yeah,
one,
or
one
something
plus.
like yeah.
I said that one plus one is one. Two is three
Oh,
is two.
if two is good, is three better? And I'm like, well, three is never better if one is mom.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
but I think you said one unless or something like that, and I told him,
yeah.
and I kind of did the same thing, but with Dad. So we brought this chair down, which was fine. We knew the couch was going to be a little bit of a bitch. So Joe, the 97, freaking percent student in geometry, did figure a good way to get it out of the door. And then we brought it down the steps, and it was like, God dang. And so we removed the banister, right? And still we're having a little bit of issues. And first time I heard Joe say fuck.
Yeah.
Everything around you, including your parents, cease to exist when your finger gets pinched between a freaking piece of furniture and the wall in the corner.
Oh,
he did the old fuck. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." I go, "No, that was fuck worthy."
I remember my daughter Amber was she was under 5, still in a car seat at the time, and couldn't get herself out, so she had to have been like 3 or 4. And I remember getting her out, and I banged her head on the roof of the car, and she goes, "Damn it!" And then Mary's like, "Amber," and I'm like, "She used it appropriately."
Yeah. Yep. I told him. I said that was a fuckable moment, Joe.
Yeah.
And then the other one was so we finally get that pivoted and around. So we're sitting out here with the chair and the couch, proud of ourselves, sweating our asses off. Take a picture, send it to Jen, and go, "Hey, we got the couch down without you." And the response was, when are you going to bring down that elliptical? Now the elliptical is a very oddly shaped 5,000 pound
clothes hanger. Yeah, I've assembled ellipticals. Yes,
heavy
on the first floor. Why you guys assembled it on a second floor, I don't know.
Awkwardly heavy.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, here's the pedals. Hey, here's the handles. Hey, here's 8,000 pounds in the front.
Yeah, well, that's it. And then if you're trying to get it down unassembled, there's no handles. You go to pick up one thing and it moves. So
I almost got knocked out. So we get it down to the bottom, right? And we realize, okay, we got to disassemble some of this, right? So I take off the freaking arms, and I'm like, Joe. Then the back of the freaking full weight of the freaking Peloton, whatever the hell this thing is, went on Joe's foot. That was fuck number 2. And I go, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." I'm like, "Dude, trust me, I'm surprised you did. That was a motherfucker." Moment, right?
Yeah. I don't think you were strong enough, in your term.
So as you know, the machines face like this. Well, like this, right? We're down here at the bottom of the steps. I'm at the bottom. Joe's at the top. The front of the machine's here. And I'm starting to disassemble the top. You see, the one thing I didn't realize is that those little pedals and those very long, heavy freaking, metal tracks.
Yeah.
That go. Yeah. There's no resistance going this way. So I'm unscrewing something, and all of a sudden, this freaking Bigfoot size freaking little area your foot goes in, flies by me, and hits, and boom! And Joe just screams, "Holy shit! I'm sorry, I didn't see that coming." And I realized that if it would have hit me in the head, and outside of the head, it may have knocked me out.
Yeah,
it definitely would have freaking whacked and done it.
Now he's got to call mom. You guys will never live that down.
So at that point, I realized I just dodged a bullet. Because it's a big, heavy freaking rail. It was moving pretty quick, and I felt the air. So we get the top off of it. So now it's just like, how can we get this downstairs with doing the least amount of damage around us? And we did a pretty good job. We got it back out. He and I just both sat down. I was like, taking a picture of it, and I sent it to Jen. And I think she was like, "Where's the handles?" I was just like,
yeah.
So this time we're both completely freaking exhausted. I mean, we're both just sweating our asses off. And you know, the elliptical was kind of like, "Hey Joe, when are you gonna go cut Pop-Pop's lawn?" "Oh, I gotta leave it an hour." "Oh, we get that down in an hour."
Yeah.
And we sat down, looked at him, I go, "Again, another item move without mom." And he's just like, "I thought we did pretty good." I was like, "Yeah, we did pretty good. We did some bonding, did some cursing." If I had another beer, I'd give it to you, but this one, I only have one and it's mine.
yeah. If I had an extra, I'd give it to you, but I only have 12, and they're all mine.
Yeah.
But I tell you, I'm 44 years old. My dad has heard me say the F word twice in my life. That's it. I've never, and up until probably 2 years ago, maybe 3, he's never heard me cuss ever. Like, I don't cuss in front of my dad ever.
Yeah.
I
wish my dad could say the same. Unfortunately, my dad has heard me drop some F-bombs, as a youngster. There's nothing like going to your brother's wedding as a 15-year-old kid and being nervous because you got to give the speech, and someone hands you champagne for the first time. And you're like, "This bubbly stuff is flavorful."
Yeah. It's like fizzy Kool-Aid.
Yeah. An hour later,
I would like more.
An hour later, you freaking look like a drunk from a movie. Nobody's goddamn business how much I've had to drink, But it's funny. It's the opposite for me. Over the last couple of years, but growing up, I've heard my dad drop the F-bomb maybe twice, because what was funny is back then, he didn't have to drop an F-bomb. He didn't have to drop an F-bomb to instill fear. He'd just fucking whack you. I heard him, I think I was maybe 9 or 10. Nothing will make a freaking good Pennsylvania man drop an F-bomb in front of his kids when he's watching the Phillies, fucking bums, I think that was the one time I really remember him ever using the F-bomb.
Yeah, I mean, I remember my dad cussing growing up. It was just, it was just, it wasn't part of conversation.
No.
Especially, back then I remember for New Year's football, there was no picture-in-picture. Like he'd have friends over, or like a friend or two over, and they'd have like 7 TVs set up. Had like the cable splitters. Like it was one of the things, all the games had to be on, no back and forth, no red zone, all the TVs, and it was usually sports, or if my brother fucked up pretty good or something, but
dad cursed, mom cursed, but it was, your standard, don't be an ass and asshole and shit and damn and stuff like that, but nothing real major.
Now Jessie and her parents, back in New Jersey. I mean, God, I remember we were dating, and it couldn't have been like the 3rd or 4th time that I went over there, and they're playing dominoes. "You want to play?" And I'm like, "I don't know how to play dominoes. I'll watch." And it was F this, F that, screaming. I think at one point, Jessie's dad looked at Jessie and like, "Your mom's a whore." I don't know. I don't know if that was like, like shit, like right there, Dad. Just they're throwing shit. Dominoes are coming on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And they'd be like all laughing, and I'm like, they're like, "You want to play?" I go, No, I don't. What I don't know what happened. I don't know what I just watched. That's
great.
Yeah.
You gonna do our intro?
Oh yes.
Since it's just me and you.
That's it. I'm Broadleaf Bully Kevin.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Kerr, and we are
the
Broadleaf Bullies.
We talk. You listen. We're the Broadleaf Bullies. And here's your hosts, Kev, Kerr, Jessie, and Jen.
minus Jessie and Jen.
Yeah.
Jen is trying to maintain her sanity since she's literally went in today. She got called in yesterday too a couple times, but she went in today at 7 already because there was already a case, and she just got home 15 minutes ago. She was home for like an hour, boxing stuff up, and then got called back in. And then while she was there, got another case.
Oh man.
I don't envy her at all because
now does she get paid for being on call just for being at home? Okay.
Well, I don't know how they do it now. They used to just pay them like a really small amount over the period of time. I think they did away with it. They get travel time. I don't know. They companies are always looking for ways to cut expenses and stuff like that. And it's like, well, why are you gonna pay someone $2 an hour, for and for 24 hours for 5 days, while they're waiting to be called in? Why don't you just pay them while they're being active? Well, then why don't we increase the hours, the money that they make while they're on call? So I don't know how they did it, but
so a friend of mine, she just left the big hospital to go in a private practice. She was a radiology tech, and they had to be on call 12-hour shifts. And they could pick them up whenever you want. But if she got paid her hourly wage to be at home on call, and then if she got called in, then she got double time. So she got
No.
So just for sitting at home, she would she got paid for being.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
that'd be.
But
nice.
But it was never for like multi days. Like she'd pick up like one on call shift like every other week or something. So it's not like
Yeah, they do like a week of call like every 3 weeks or something like that. And they go, the person who's on call will go in late and not early. And they'll stay late because, if you're going to get called in, who wants to come in early and leave early then come back again?
Yeah.
So, they really stagger that schedule a little bit. Or if you get your ass kicked over the weekend, they maybe like, come in a little bit later on Monday or something like that. If it's not that busy, but there's some flexibility, especially if you're on call. I heard she got her ass whooped this weekend, but I've always kind of been like, listen, man, if I'm on call and you're going to pay me double time while I'm on call or time and a half, sign me up. That's,
Yeah. I remember a year. This is going back 25 years ago now. I guess my ex-wife, first wife, Mary, she was a CNA at the hospital, and they couldn't find a nurse. She didn't qualify for it, but they had a hard time finding nurses that would work, weekends. Like none of the nurses, nobody wanted to work weekends.
Right.
So they made a deal to the nurses. You had to sign up for a 2-year contract. It was 3 12-hour shifts, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They paid you for 40, but whatever you were making at that time, they doubled your pay. And you had to sign up for 2 years, and you had to do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for 2. I mean, if you had vacation days, things like that, that was acceptable. But yeah, they doubled your pay, and they sold out. They filled up instantly.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's. In a job, there's always going to be give and take. I mean, there's always it's just the way it is. I mean, especially if like I'm salaried, so there's weeks where I'll put in freaking well over 40 hours in that week. My pay doesn't go up. I can pay the same amount.
Yeah,
But if there is a slow week, and I put in maybe 35 hours, I still get paid the same.
Yeah.
Enterprise Rent-A-Car got into trouble a few years ago. When I first started with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, that was in 94. They had management trainees, and you got paid hourly. And you worked your butt off. You did. And then you had to take a test. And after you took it, it was a test to become eligible to be a manager. And the test wasn't just like a stupid test. Like you really had to study. And it wasn't like, who was the founding father's oldest son?
Yeah.
It really had everything to do with the history of the company, but everything had to do with how to run the office. You know, everything from, doing your lube oil fill, that we call them loafers, lube oil filter change route, tire rotation, the depreciation of the cars per month, and how does that factor into your overhead, and how does that factor into your income? I mean, how do you maintain a business if you have, higher valued vehicles, and your depreciation is going to be greater than the next guy over who may have all economy cars. So it really was a great test. And then after you took that test and passed it, you became a management assistant, which was kind of like a step below an assistant manager, but you basically were waiting for an assistant manager's position to open up to put in for it. And you were salaried. Well, as soon as someone became a management assistant, it was like, okay, all you hourly people, go home, management assistant, and you we have a delivery at 9:00 at night and freaking Doylestown, 45 minutes away. So you were working your ass off as salary because they didn't want to pay that overtime rate. Well, I did that for about 2 months, 3 months, or whatever it was, and then a position opened up, and I became an assistant manager in Pottsville, up where my brother lived, up there where they make Yingling. Went ahead, became an assistant manager, did the whole thing, car thing, and when I got in the car division there, I got a letter saying that there was a class action lawsuit against Enterprise Rent-A-Car. That all these people who were management assistants said, hey, this role is not a management position. It needs to be hourly, and we got used and abused. And I brought it to my president's attention. He's like, oh, yeah. He goes, don't worry about it. So I was like, okay, Here they settled and basically lost the lawsuit because that role was not a management position. So it should have been hourly. And I got like a $400, $500 check in the mail for the settlement.
Yeah.
But obviously, lawyers make out in that deal. But then they switched everything, and all those management assistants then became hourly because they were no longer a management role. Assistant manager different. They got paid salary. They got commission. As a management assistant, you got paid a salary. Like when I first started, I think my first year or two there as a manager trainee, I think I made $24,000. Where a management assistant, I think their salary was, I think it was like $22,000.
Yeah,
it was crazy stuff, but
crazy. You mentioned Yingling. Jessica, she made some beer bread, and she used a Yingling, and I'd never seen it before. Yingling has it's not a light lager, but it's like a light beer.
Yeah, they have a Yingling light lager.
Is that what it's called, light lager?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Yingling has a couple of beers out that are, the lager just took off. That became super popular during the microbrew phase back in the 90s. And then Yingling's porter then became very popular.
Yeah. I remember the porter.
Yeah. So they also have the Yingling Black and Tan became popular is what it was. And the Black and Tan is, you have standard Yingling beer, which is, in my opinion, not very good.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
but my dad loves it because he can get it for super cheap. And then you have lager, and then there's a Lord Chesterfield ale, which I do like.
Lord Chesterfield, wasn't that was a cigar, wasn't it?
I thought it was a cigarette.
Oh, maybe a cigarette. No, it wasn't the light lager. It was the Golden Pilsner.
They have a Golden Pilsner now too. Okay. Yes, they do. That's newer.
Okay, that's what she bought.
Yeah, but they had the Lord Chesterfield ale. They had porter. Then they had Black and Tan. And Black and Tan is the Lord Chesterfield and the porter mixed together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing the Lord Chesterfield on their web. I see that they have a what's called Flight by Yingling. It looks clear, like it must be very light. And then they have a Raging Eagle Mango. It must be a hard seltzer that everybody's fucking doing. Oh no, I see the Lord Chesterfield. It's in a green, a green bottle.
And to be honest with you, I may have, Yeah, it's Lord Chesterfield ale.
Yeah,
So
I see the black and tan. Okay.
So that and the porter mixed together is the black and tan.
Oh, okay.
And I like the Lord Chesterfield ale. I do like a lot. I do. It's a good beer. The standard Yingling, not a big fan of. The lager. Man, I drank so much lager back in the day, but it gives me. I get lager farts. It's just terrible. It rips me up. But I love the flavor of it. That was when I was younger. That was the hangover cure, was getting a ice cold bottle of lager and drinking that the next day.
Yeah.
At least that's the way I justified it.
Can't have a hangover if you don't stop drinking. So, and then talking about work, so our job, as we're not regular mechanics, or we're not like what, most mechanics are paid flat rate. You know what flat rate is, you turn so many hours a week, we're hourly and commission, which it kind of makes up to be about the same as flat rate. I would probably say 75% of all the technicians in our company can't figure out how they're going to get paid or how they get paid. Like when Friday comes around, like it's a surprise. You don't have a clue how much money you're making. Really? Yeah. It's just a surprise. Like, oh, I got a check. Oh, sweet. It was like this amount. And like, all right, that was money. Like the next week you don't know, so I remember I was probably like a year into, cause I started off my job part-time cause I was doing security full-time, just working part-time at Tires Plus, helping my buddy Kerr out, who was a store manager. He was down a guy. So I'd go in 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon to help him out. So then I left the security, went back into mechanics full time. And then after like a year, and I'm like, what is going on with the pay system around here? And then just trying to get it explained, well, you take your hourly and your commission, and then we have this thing called a bogey and a double bogey. And then your daily report at the end of the day, it shows that like these sales, but you actually don't get paid on those sales. So they like take those away after a couple of days. And I'm like, what is going on? So I finally had to go back and forth with HR, like 6 different emails back and forth until I'm like, because everyone would be like, okay, so that's the way it is. I'm like, now hold on a second. I'm not done here. So until I finally figured it out, like exactly. So if it's Monday and we're going to get paid Friday, it would literally take me 30 minutes to figure out how much money I'm going to make on Friday. And then that was only, I got good within like $10. Yeah. Right. It's like, it's an asinine system, but it's still better than just flat rate, because flat rate sucks if you're not a busy shop. If you can't turn the hours. Yeah. I only work 40 hours a week. I try and only do 38. Because actually the less hours I work, but the less hours I'm there, but the more hours I turn, the more money I make, so I try not to work very much and try and do a lot,
I had a manager tell me a while back, he said, this about commissions. He's like, if your commission structure is too complicated to understand, you shouldn't be working there. Yeah. And I found it to be very true. It seems like the commission structure of a company that's very straightforward and basic, it is very above the table, if you will. It's it's expected of you, what the goal is, now you know what to attain it. But if it's like, well, this point I was in hospice, it was like, well, what we do is we take the the EBITDA, and then we take and I'm like, okay, so I'll just wait and see what I get paid. And if we get paid a lot of money, I guess we did well. If I don't, then I guess we did poorly. Yeah. We track our daily, how much work we turn. At the end of the week, we know roughly, okay, I turned this amount. So I have my set goal of numbers that I have to turn to get, say, a $1,800 paycheck. So in order to get that, I have to turn this. If I turn more than that, I don't know how much more over 1,800. It'll just be more, know. So, but other than that, we just, and then if it's less, then it's like, all right, it's less than that number. So I don't know what it'll be, but it's just less. And but then you have a goal though. I have a goal. Then on vacation time,
we always lose out on vacation time. You always make less, which that's the part that sucks. You make less on vacation because they take because we're commission and hourly. So they take your last 10-week average. Well, never fails. No, I don't know of a technician that's ever gone on vacation that's had 10 fantastic weeks. Like, you got a vacation coming up. So like your last 2 weeks, like the shop's dead. And you're like, of course we're dead. Of course we are. I'm going on vacation. I've had 8 fantastic weeks in a row. Now we're dead for 2 weeks. Screws up my whole average.
That's the fucking worst.
That'd
be horrible.
I know. It's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, we now, there's always incentive, and I like working with a small company. I work for a pharma company the same way. It was, here's the company's goal. If the company meets their goal, we'll get a bonus. If not, you don't. It's good because it keeps everybody, working towards that number, and everybody has a part to play to hit that number at the end of the year. I do miss monthly or quarterly commission checks. I mean, it's always nice to get a little something, every 3 months.
Well, yeah, because like saying my job every 3 months quarterly, my manager, he'll get $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, like bonus, if we do good, and it's like we're, and like I said, at the end of the year, I don't make much less than he does, but it's just like, I did all this fucking work. What the fuck's my bonus?
It's nice to have that little bolus.
Even if it's just a couple $100, like he's getting ready. He won a trip to Hawaii. He's won a trip to Puerto Rico. I think twice. Now he's got this trip to Hawaii, and it's for 2. And then he's not taking his wife; he's going by himself. But it's for 2. And I'm like, I said, I'll give you $500. Give you $500. Let me go with you. As soon as we get off the airport, next time you'll see me is 7 days later when I meet you back at the airport when we come home. I go, we're not hanging out together.
Yeah.
I mean, that you could have the hotel to yourself. I go, he goes, well, what are you going to do? And I go, I got friends in Hawaii, man. I go, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like you drop me off, gone.
I'll be a local for 7 days, buddy.
Oh yeah. It's, cause you got Chris out in Hawaii, we got, you're Chris Weber. I got Chris Duque, the Dirty Rat, the whole Dirty Rat crew. I'm sleeping on couches for 7 days and smoking cigars and drinking. And that's it.
Chris is going to be coming to the States. He's actually going to be in Greenville end of April, beginning of May.
Well, technically, he's in the States. He lives in Hawaii. You mean the
continental United States? He corrected me as well.
The mainland is what they call it.
The continental United States.
Yes.
Because I said to him, I said, when you come to the States? He goes, I am in the States. I'm in Hawaii. I go, fucking Chris. Continental United States. When are you going to be in the continental United States? He's like, well, and he started giving me his lineup, and then we kind of divvied up some time. I was like, well, you're going to be here. And who do we have on May 2nd?
Isn't he on May 2nd?
Is he on May 2nd?
I
thought he was late May.
I thought you told me May 2nd.
It may have been. There's a lot of Mays being thrown around.
Oh, no, May 9th. So May 2nd is Jeremy with Wildfire Cigars. He was supposed to be on twice, and he's finally rescheduled. And
that's right.
Knock on wood. I haven't heard from him yet, so I'm assuming we're still on.
Yeah. I'm like, well, then I'm like, well, fucking hey, dude, you're gonna be here, May 2nd, that or whatever that is, that Monday. I was like, you could have been here live on the show and done this, but
I mean, if he's still gonna be, we can do, like there that week. I mean, if he's only gonna be for you that one day. I mean, if it's the day prior or something, we can always do a show.
Well, he'll still do the 9th. I mean, that's not a problem. I
was saying if he was going to be there, we would just not do a show a 9th and then do one either the May 1st, 3rd, whatever, 4th.
Yeah. Well, what I want to do is I want to get him specifically nailed down to these exact dates because this is what we talked about. I want to be sure. I wouldn't want to make plans on, yeah, I could probably shoot down and then have it change because anything can change. Everything gets wacky in this world of cigars. Nothing is really ever certain, it seems like.
Yeah, and then the week after that, the week after the 9th, we got Sebastian and Brian Matola from
Right.
Cavaliers. So that'll be a good show. The
Yeah,
two of
that'll be
them.
great.
So yeah, hopefully, knock on wood, they're both like out in and out of the country. So I think we're going to be the first show to have both of them on.
Oh, that'll be a lot of fun.
So that'll be definitely be cool.
So, good.
Oh, I was going to say, speaking of that, I had heard back from Robert Holt, or not Robert Holt, Robert Caldwell, trying to get some scoop on Tony Villado, and of course Robert got back to me the day afterwards, and he's like, he goes, ask him about, and then he goes, Shardy Party, teeny tiny Tony Bum Bun. And I'm like, I don't even know what that's, So next time I see Tony in an interview, I'm going to chime that in. Hey, tell us about Shardy Party Tardy.
Teeny tiny Tony.
I know. It's got to be as epic as Mr. Poopy Pants. So yeah,
that was even funnier that he saw him the year later. Yeah. It's like, how do you not say something to the person? Not embarrass them. Be like, listen, dude, I know you because I almost got arrested.
Yeah, because of you.
Because you were passed out and you shot your pants.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So Jennifer's all riled up and fired up. We're in the finals with Matt Booth.
Yes. What do they just do? 24 hours? How's that go? Because I've never seen the rules on the contest.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Complicated commission system. So yeah.
When
it gets to the point to where the person that they want to win is in the lead and they call it.
It could be it, which would have favored me. But it seemed to go like 24 hours, like you said at first. But then I seen a couple of them go a little bit longer.
Oh.
And I can't say that that's accurate or not. I'm just saying from my perspective. It took a little bit longer to call the winner. They may have gotten a winner, but we're waiting for something else.
Yeah.
And it seemed like I was on the right side of the bracket, and it seemed like of the brackets, and it seemed like ours was moving faster than the left side.
Okay.
And I know it's kind of difficult to kind of throw them out there, but I thought the guys did a great job of doing it. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool how they did it. And I had a chuckle when I ended up going against Matt Booth in the championship, because I had beaten Matt Booth earlier on, which I was surprised I did. And then see him in the end. But I mean, freaking that cigar, for what it's worth with the voting system and people going on there, his 11th anniversary cigar, it knocked out in my opinion, some heavy hitters, some good cigars.
I haven't had it yet, so I haven't been up to any of the local lounges to pick any up. So I didn't have his, or did I have his 10th?
I think I've had the 10th, but not the 11th.
Maybe I've had the 10th, but not the 11th.
But I mean, in the first round, he beat the LCA Reserva Vintage 2021, and then he beat out the Lady Killer, which is a Robert Holt Southern Draw cigar, which is fantastic. And then he beat the Last Cowboy, our friend James Sinistro, which is a great cigar.
When you're talking about, cult-like followings, so you've got Roma Craft, you've got Room 101. Those are probably, and obviously Drew Estate, but
I think you got Pravada too. They have a pretty decent cult following too.
They do, but and I was just gonna say, when you've got, like, I've seen like Drew Estate and Pravada, they do have a cult-like following, but they don't come out when it matters.
Right.
Like when something so like the Room 101 Shadow Army, and then the Weasel Nation from Tabac, like, or Aromacraft, like when something is on the line, like everybody drops what the fuck you're doing and you attack. Like you know, whether it's voting or literally attacking something or someone or a group, those two groups, like I said, they will drop what they are doing and they will gather en masse if they're provoked by their leader, you know. So like if Matt had done a live, same with Skip Martin, hey, I'm up for this voting, everybody, let's go, and then thousands of people drop what they're doing, and that's it. So, but
the most comments I've seen so far was when his 11th anniversary went against the Monza.
Yeah.
And I think there was like 30 some comments in Instagram, and it was just boofy 11th. I mean, he came out. There was a lot of. I was surprised.
And I don't want to take credit for it, but watching that as well. But as soon as I did that story, and then I made sure I tagged the Shadow Army, Boofy, Room 101, Room 101 brands, all the Room 101s, and then each of them reposted that story with those links, and then that's and that got them. But then again, like I said, it's at the end of the day only 30, 40 people, actually.
Yeah, but then you take Instagram, Facebook. I saw there's a lot of Facebook, and then they also do the Instagram voting, so you can literally vote 3 times.
Yeah.
You can vote on Facebook, you can put your comments on Instagram, and then you can also vote.
I didn't know you could do the voting. I didn't know that counted on the Instagram as well.
Yeah, because you could do a percentage. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who's going to know that unless it counts your vote up top and they know who participated? I don't know much about the voting system in Instagram.
Yeah, neither do I. Yeah, but, I didn't think about that. You could do it twice.
Yeah. So there you go. You go back in, but from my bracket, I went up against the Farce and won, which was nice. I went against Paul Stulak's Lord. I've never had the Paul Stulak Lord. I think I'm going to order it from the Mountain Smoke, the guys at Mountain Smoke Cigar Shop, because I've had Paul Stulak's cigar that he released through the LCA, and it was, in my opinion, one of the best cigars that the LCA released, and that was when they first started. I felt Death Bucket was a fantastic cigar. It was the first one. Then Paul Stulak came out, and I still think his was incredible. And then I went against Odd Job, which is another LCA cigar. So I was able to beat out 2 LCA cigars.
I wonder if they took that name from the movie.
Yes, they did.
Oh, Kelly's Heroes? Okay.
No, Odd Job was also, I think, the bad guy in one of the James Bond movies.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking Kelly's Heroes.
Yeah, it might have been too. I mean, I think if that name's been used. And then I went against DAV. I guess one of their new blends is 1918, and beat DAV in order to get where I am now. So and there's a lot of, when it started off, man, there's a lot of great cigars, and there's some cigars I was surprised to see them lose. I really was, because they're, I seen the Fear No Evil. That's a really good cigar.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with.
I thought we sent a couple of them to you. I think it's an Ezra Zion cigar.
Oh, then Jessica took them.
I was surprised to see Fried Chicken lose from Ezra Zion. That's a great cigar too. I had that one when we were up in North Carolina.
Yeah,
that was really good. But I you take it as anecdotally. It's fun. It's neat. I'm not going to be running around with bragging rights of winning the tournament. I just think it's fun, and it's funny. And that's why I posted that picture of Boothie on the new
Ash Quarterly.
Ash Cordy, I'm like, listen, if I'm ever honored enough to be on in your magazine or featured, don't use any pictures of me. Use this picture.
Yeah.
Because I don't want this picture with me on the road. I don't want this picture of me in black and white. I want Matt Booth, because he's a handsome man, but this is a great picture. And and this is the one I would like to have as and say, hey, featured this article is interview with Kerr Viajante at Stogie Road Cigars, and just have the picture of Matt Booth standing there.
Yeah, I want to, like I said, next time we're anywhere near Jersey or anything else, I want to go to New York, and I want to take a picture. I forget what the street is called. It's just in like a warehouse district, but it's the Brooklyn Bridge in the background, and it's where JD took a great photo for like Tobacco Business Magazine, and a couple of people have like recreated his photo. Yeah, beautiful photo. I told Jess, I'm like, I'm gonna hire a photographer and get up there for a day and just take some photos just with But yeah, whoever took that photo of Matt, that was a fantastic photo.
Oh my God. You also got to be, very photogenic, if you will, or whatever they say. But yeah, I saw a picture enough when I opened up my Ash Quarterly ratings club. I was like, damn, that's just a great picture, man.
Yeah, that was a fantastic picture. He's got some all of the bundles from the send nudes is coming my way.
Oh,
so, yeah. So he's going to send me one, and I told Jess I'm not even going to open them. Just putting them all away. Just going to put them all, collect them all, because that's those are one and done. So
I ordered mine from Dickel.
Oh, did you?
Cigar. Yeah. But with you on the front, congratulations on being featured on the send nudes. It reminded me of the beaver hunt in in Penthouse, where you just had the Polaroids.
God, of just women sending their photos in. It's like, God.
Now it's freaking, you click on anything on the internet, you get it. Back then it was just a Polaroid, and they just freaking featured it. Here's such and such from such and such Arizona. But congratulations on that. I wanted to ask you about that too, because that was pretty cool and exciting to see that the effort that you put into taking a picture of yourself hiding behind the Matt Booth,
the Room 101 sign,
the Room 101 sign,
the Boodog,
being naked and all that. It was produced in the form of a specially short run bundle pack.
Yeah, so it was all, and then I got on 3 bundles. So I'm on 3, and Tommy Farrell's on 2, and Matt's on 1. So that was.
Now, is Matt's the one where it's his pants from going to the bathroom?
Yeah. So yeah, that's Matt.
Gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so it was cool. I mean, other than that, I had no say on I didn't even know it was coming out. Like I said, I only knew when Matt finally sent the finalized photos, and then next thing I know, 3 hours later, Tommy's like, "Hey, these are here at Nickel City." Like, what?
Did you know what he's going to do with the pictures though?
Oh, I knew what he was going to do with the pictures. Yeah. So, and I didn't know like they were going to put them in that format. I just thought it was just going to be a sticker. But other than that, I had no idea any of the details of what was going on. He just sent me a picture one day, and or sent me a text one day, and he said, "Send nudes." That's all the text said. Send nudes. I sent him some photo. When Matt Booth asked, there's no follow up.
That's great.
You just send nudes. That's it. So.
And you get that's what's the blend? I saw it was a Habano.
Yeah, I can't. I think I'm on a Habano. I'm on a Connecticut. I can't. Yeah, I can't.
I thought remember. you were on. Pardon me. You were on the different sizes, the different.
Or is it one blend 3 sizes?
It's one blend 3 sizes.
Oh, is that what? Okay.
Yeah, you have. I think yours is a Robusto, a Toro, and maybe I think a Super Toro or something.
Okay.
But yeah, it was yours is the Habano, I believe. The other guy, I don't know who the hell it was, is the Connecticut. if I'm not mistaken. And then I think Boothie was the Maduro, maybe.
All right.
San Andreas.
I'll have to do some creative photos with the packs when I get them.
Double down, baby. Double down.
Oh, you know I'm gonna double down on them.
The nudes with the nudes. Matt Booth sends nudes. So yours is let's see here. Yours is an Ecuadorian Connecticut Robusto Toro. So no, yours is no, it's not saying it. It's I think I got to look at your picture. Yeah, yours is the special Habano Classic. It comes in Robusto, Gordo, and a Toro.
Okay.
And the Ecuadorian Connecticut comes in a Robusto and a Toro, and the San Andreas Maduro Classic is Boothie's toilet shot, and that comes in a Robusto only.
All right.
So 3, 2, 1.
So right on. So yeah, that's Boofy for, and I don't know where else they're going to be available. So I know Nickel City said they were the first to get them. So I don't know where else, that they're going to be available. So I guess we'll see soon as they release them.
Yeah, I hope that they're available elsewhere. I mean, Nickel City is a great shop. I mean, we've talked about them before. Up outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, is that where they're at? I thought they were in New York. Were they?
No, I think if I'm not mistaken,
I thought they were Buffalo because it was Nickel City. Am I wrong?
You might be right. I might be wrong. What the hell am I thinking? I'm thinking of Wooden Nickel.
Oh yeah, or Wooden Indian.
Wooden Indian.
Yeah.
But that is on the Nickel. Yeah, God, how did I get to that freaking?
Oh yeah. Nickel City is in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
So Wooden Indian is in PA.
Yeah, well, I don't know. There we go. Sorry, hit the wrong button. But yeah, that's right. I that was my bit. That was my mistake. The other thing that happened this week, last night, which was really funny. I told Jennifer I was gonna tell this is Joe. Joe went to his buddy's house last night, and he said, hey, calls us. He goes, can I go to a party at my and we're like, okay, well, who's having the party? I don't know. Like, what do you mean you don't know? I don't know. So that's always not a good way to kind of start the request, right? So we're like, well, we got to know more about this party. So he said, okay, well, let me find out. So he calls us. He says, okay, his one buddy is his really good friend of his. And we've known him for years. I mean, real good kid. He's like, it's one of Grant's friends. We're like, okay, tell us a little bit more about it. Well, it's his friends of his sister's friends and his friends. And, you start hearing this. I don't know. It's for some reason, kids nowadays, they just, when we were growing up,
they don't know how to lie.
Well, I don't even know if they know how to lie. I just don't know if they know how to communicate. I'm like, how the hell do you not? So Jen's like, well, just give me the address. And he's like, okay. So Jen comes over to me. She's like, something's up. I'm like, why? She's like, this is in Aspenwood. I was like half asleep when she's telling us because I fell asleep last night. I was exhausted. And I'm like, she's like, do you remember the house we looked over in Aspenwood? One of the first house we looked at with the pool in the back? I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's the address Joe just sent me. And I'm like, and she goes, and they put a contract and there's old people living in that home and something's fishy. So she's like, you need to tell me more. And so we get him on the phone. I'm like, Joe, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. It's the address he gave me. Like, I don't know. He goes, I understand why it seems a little fishy. So this house was up for sale and it was old people living there. And I'm like, all right, we'll find out more. Okay, I will. And Jen goes, so she's like, I don't know, Joe. I don't know. I'm gonna say no. This doesn't sound right. And I'm kind of nodding off. And then she's like, I don't know. I go, what the hell's the address? and she goes, I don't remember the address. It was in a text message. So I Googled, houses for sale in Simpsonville on Aspenwood, and the house popped up that we looked at. And then I looked through a text message, and it's the different addresses. One is two, and I clicked on the freaking button of the address that was sent, and she was looking at the same pictures, and I'm like, this ain't the same house, Jen. Yes, it is. I'm like, no, it's not. Not even a little bit. There's a pool in the back. I go, the house we looked at had an in-ground pool shaped like an L. This is an above-ground pool with a wooden deck built around it. The other one had cement around it. And this one has a trampoline in the yard. The other one didn't have a trampoline. Oh, and by the way, they had a 2-car garage in the back. This doesn't. And then she's looking at it. And I go, this looks like the other house we looked at in Taylor's. And she's like, that's where I thought it was. I was like, so I called Joe. I go, Joe, just go to the fucking party.
Now Joe's friends are like, Joe, you're not coming. Like your parents are just, it's too much. Joe's not invited anymore. Nobody invite Joe.
I was like, Joe, I was like, Joe, I said, just go to the party. I said, your mom was a little confused. She's like, I thought, she's like, explained to him. I said, Joe is like looking at the phone, like he's like he should,
Yeah.
like we're completely insane. But it all worked out. But and obviously in Jen's defense, she's very, very tired. She'd have been working all day and then also packing all day, but it really was just a freaking hilarious moment where she got, you got the name of the road that we were on. The house looked like the one house we looked at, and but when I looked at it, I'm like, there's a pool in the back. Like the other one had an L-shaped pool and cement around it. This is an above ground pool with a wooden deck around it. It's
yeah. I remember growing up in one of the houses. We moved not a lot, but quite a bit as kids. My dad worked for a construction supply company, and they would move him around various parts of Florida. He would open up a branch here, get it up and running, and then we'd move on. And 2 years later, 3 years later, whatever it was, open up another branch. And that's just kind of what he did. But one of the houses we lived in, and that was actually in Venice, which you don't know where that's at. It's actually the next town over. We had a huge pool, and parents were looking to buy that house. My dad was getting tired of moving, and it's like, you know what? It's about time to just settle down and just run one branch. Like, listen, I'm done. But one of the issues we had, or I remember having, was the city came out at one point to inspect, the landlord at the time had having to put a new drain field in for the septic system, and then they noticed like the pool in the backyard, like, hey, what's up with this pool? And I was like, I don't know, we lived here for like a year. This pool's been here, and I was like nobody pulled a permit for this pool,
right?
And it was a huge, it was perfectly square pool, because round pools suck. They take up space, and it was like 15 feet deep. Like nobody could get to like the deep end. Like the shallow end was like 6 feet deep, and didn't meet any kind of codes. And it was just like this giant fucking pool that took up almost the entire size of the lot. And the guy's like, boy, anybody ever buys this house, they're going to have an issue. And my dad's like, we are not buying this house. Having to dig up a pool or fill it in or make it up to code or something.
Oh, I could imagine, because, coming from Pennsylvania, we definitely had lots of codes that you had, I know you're experiencing now with the add-on, right? So you have all these different codes, and it's like, if you do buy a house, like you said, and something wasn't up to code, oh my God, it's not a, hey, you got to fix this. It's like, okay, what you need to do is you got to remove all of this.
Yeah.
And then you got to start from scratch. Yeah.
Oh
see.
yeah, it's crazy. You know, it's like when we put the bathroom in. Well, when we built this edition we're in now, the walk-in closet will eventually be the bathroom, and then this will be the walk-in closet. But we buried all the pipe underneath, and we had it all laid to code. We have a plumbing company come out, put it all in, so that way when we're ready to put the bathroom in, he's only got to dig up, a couple inches of concrete, and then all the pipes are there. But he'll have to tell the city, hey, we're going to dig up the concrete, we're going to put the pipe in and everything else, because we can't just put a bathroom in, because if we ever sell it, the city will be like, where is this bathroom at? It's like, and then the new owners will be screwed,
Right.
for the bathroom. So yeah, it's but yeah, we put it all up to code. We weren't even going to try and do that ourselves. And then when we were putting in the other addition, we had to extend the pipe for the bathroom, the future bathroom. So we had to call the company back out and call the guy up, and he's like, oh, you ready to put that bathroom in? I go, nope, not yet. Just that you put in all the pipe, and then basically it just dead ends in, a foot outside the slab. And I go, no, we're putting another addition in, and I need you to run that pipe underneath the new addition. So he had to come out, and the day before they poured the concrete, lay a pipe in to extend it. So now we're still good. But yeah, we've spent a couple $1,000s putting in what they call a ghost bathroom. And we don't even have it.
There's my background finally.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Autographed by Matt Booth too.
That's it. Send nudes.
Yeah, that's such a pain in the ass. I told you I had a buddy of mine who had a house. It was north of Harrisburg. It was a rural area, and he had to get the whole freaking permit and everything to put an in-ground pool. Had everything done, and then he decided to just completely renovate the part of his house, which was the original part. His house was in three different parts. The first house was a log cabin from like the 1800s. The middle part was a house that was they added on, I think, in the early 1900s, and then the third part of his house was like added on back in the 50s. But the log cabin part was just storage because it wasn't in great shape. So he wanted to renovate that whole thing, and he just kept his old pool permit in the window.
Oh, because so they drove by?
Because they were that far away. If they drove by and they saw the construction, they would see a permit in the window.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'd have the guys that would come up the driveway and they'd want to see the permit and everything. But most of the time, he'd see the inspector, and he knew that the inspector's going to drive by this afternoon, so we got to get the first part of the roof up. So we're sitting there trying to get the freaking roof. Everything. I got wasps stinging me in the throat. He's like, it doesn't matter. You're fine. Can you breathe fine? I'm like, yeah, but everything's numb and it hurts. He goes, you can breathe fine. You're not having an allergic reaction. We got to get this up and running. But he had to jack up and lay a new foundation and everything because this log cabin was in bad shape. But he to what you're going through, if he would have had to get a permit for everything that needed to be done to that section of the house, it probably would have taken over a year, if not longer.
Oh yeah. They've been done with our framing for a month now, over a month.
Yeah,
still waiting on a framing inspection. We can't proceed. And this is a bare bones. This is just a room,
right?
It's not like this where we had walls and doors and we had smoke detectors. And this is a big room, which should have been, at most a 12-week, 16-week project. It'll take all year. It'll take the better part of this year to get this done. Just because, like I said, it's just, at every point we need inspections, so, once the framing inspection's done, they can get, they can work on the inside, start the electrical, and they got to wrap the, with house wrap tape, obviously you've seen that, so as soon as the house wrap is up, that stops. They come in, they look at the house wrap. All right. Now you can keep going with the stucco. Same with the roof. As soon as they get the tar paper down on the roof, that stops. Inspect the paper. Make sure the paper's okay. It overlaps. All the nails Like they'll come out even on the framing inspection, how the it's nailed together. He'll pick certain areas with the tape measure, make sure the nails are within, X amount. It's just every single step has its own inspection. And
you got to have electrical. You got to have the electro. Is that?
Yep. We do the
everything, right?
Yep. Well, there's no plumbing in that part. So we'll once the framing is done, they'll come in and they'll do all the installation, then do the electrical, and then that's then they stop, and then they put the drywall up. And then after the drywall, it's pretty free because, like I said, I don't think there is a drywall inspection, and then it's just pretty much after that, it's a final, on the inside. Because then it's just painting and everything else. They don't care about, drywall finishing. They don't care about paint. They don't care about flooring. It's
just the electrical part.
Yeah, the electrical, and then everything that gets hidden by other stuff has to be inspected.
And you're not going to do any plumbing.
No plumbing on the addition. So
none. No water for the bar.
No water. In the future, so behind one wall, we do have a water supply line. And then, like I said, there is a drain line for the bathroom inside that addition. So I know right where that pipe is at, and I know right where the water is. So so at one point I could put a sink in if I wanted, and then have it cut straight through the concrete, right where the drain is and right where the water supply is. But right now, with construction being so expensive, it's already, after all said and done with, even with paint and then even just furnishings and things like that, it's a $75,000 project.
Right.
In any type of plumbing and everything else, 10,000, 10 grand more, just absolutely insane.
Yeah, for a sink.
It's just nuts, and that's why, and there's just no room for even like eventually we could possibly put a small bathroom in. Eventually, that might be something that we could do, over time, but it's not something I'm worried about because it's just going to be us. We just come inside the house,
right?
Just walk through the garage and go to the bathroom inside. It's not a big deal. When we have events, which are only
drop a porta potty.
Well, that's all we're going to do. We want to do events every quarter hosted by a manufacturer. So if we find out Robert Holt's in the area, hey, let's do a Robert Holt event. Not gonna be selling anything, but just have Robert Holt come in and just invite people over. Once a quarter. And then we're just gonna have a porta potty dropped off, and then like a hand washing station. In the driveway. For the weekend. What's that gonna cost? Whatever manufacturer that want, because we've had a couple manufacturers that have inquired about hosting events. And they'll pay for everything, so it's like, it'd be nothing out of our pocket, if they want to cater food and have a porta potty dropped off and have, 30, 40, 50 people come over, so.
That's crazy, right? You can drop a porta potty off and freaking have a hand washing station. It's cheaper than just getting the plumbing in there.
Oh, yeah. We could do that 4 or 5 times a year for the next 5 years. And still be cheaper.
That's crazy. Well, that'll be cool, man. That's I'm looking forward to that. I think that having the events, and if people are in town, or even make a special trip out to your place, it sounds like you'll have enough room where you can have maybe about 8 to a dozen people over.
Oh yeah, we could probably definitely have at least a dozen people, and then if it's a bigger event, we'll kind of like set it up. Hey, we need to know RSVP. And we can just set up a small tent, outside, beautiful Florida weather, just keep the doors open because we have 2 big French doors, so people can just come in and out, have a little tent with some tables to set up out front and just have an event. We're hoping we can get, Drew Estate to do the grand opening, have Pedro come up for, have like a little ribbon cutting, ceremony or something, and, be fun.
Well, if you need someone to do a ribbon cutting, I'll be like 8th on the list. Just I know that as you ratchet down, and if everybody's schedule is too busy, we'll be more than happy to be the backup to the backup to the backup to the backup. I
Well,
like bring my own scissors.
Yeah, your own giant. It's got to be giant scissors, Kerr. Don't be screwing around with my my grand opening.
Hey, hold on for a second.
Gotta have the giant scissors and the big red sash, and
just so happens, Kevin. You see, I wouldn't fuck around at your grand opening.
you have your own giant scissors.
I bought these 3 years ago when I started Stogie Roads and Cigars, waiting for someone to have me come in as a ceremony to cut their ribbon. I have not been asked yet. However, these scissors have been waiting for the grand opening of somewhere.
Well, hopefully,
hopefully you scored some points.
Hopefully that you'll make it to our grand opening, and you can cut the ribbon, and Pedro will just be there to walk through, and you'll have your giant. We can get everybody to, because what are those, big plastic or fiberglass?
I'll put razors on. I'll make sure it cuts.
Yeah. So I'll have to buy those from you. So we'll have everybody sign the scissors that were there at the grand opening, and yeah,
you could have Pedro cut the ribbon, and everybody walks in, and you got just quickly put up some toilet paper for the VSR. I'll cut it real quick. Be like, take some action photos.
Those would be good all night long. Everybody be taking pictures of cutting their cigars with your giant scissors.
What's funny is we just cleaned out, and Joe had, I don't know, he freaking had this. He whenever we used to go to Comic-Con or he goes Halloween, he'd always buy this shit and make up his own, costumes and stuff. It was pretty funny. This never got used in a costume, so it just got used just to mess with people. So we just brought it down here because he was going to sell them in a yard sale. But what I heard you say about cutting, Carrie, just make sure you have some giant scissors. I'm like, oh, they're right over there, Kev.
And you had them handy.
You should ask.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Most definitely. I BYO's S. Bring your own scissors.
Yeah.
I will have it.
And then I just found a guy local. Actually, he's not local. Local to me. He's about 3 hours away. And I'll have to pass his information to you as well. We're getting the new house. He builds bars, like these, and he has a whole Etsy page, and they're really inexpensive. Most of the bars that he builds, and he builds them out of 2x4s, really structurally sound, a whole bunch of different designs, and they're under $1,000. And it's only, and I think he must have a truck and trailer, because I've seen where he's had like and he must at a certain point drive around the country delivering these things, because like an 8-foot bar that probably what an 8-foot bar made out of 2x4 is probably going to be 800 pounds, 1,000 pounds. And some of them he delivers for free, and others he delivers them for like $100.
Really?
So I've seen like pictures of his trailer and like full of them. So I'm just wondering if it's one of those things. Hey, if you want it delivered, it's not going to be a week from now. I've got a trailer full, and
right.
probably just makes a big loop, delivers, throughout, all over. I've seen pictures of people in Ohio with his bars, so I'll have to send you his Etsy page link, and build some fantastic stuff. And obviously the more elaborate that you want to make it, the higher they go. But we're going to go down there when we're getting a little closer and take some measurements and maybe do some cool videos, have them, watch them build the bar.
Yeah, I like to see the creativity, because we built bars in college, right? And there was one bar that was passed around from house to house for 3 years. It was like, okay, this was in this house, and it was like, okay, we got evicted, so it needs to go to another house, and the bar was like freaking £1 million, because it wasn't cheaply made. it was like you said, 2x4s and had freaking good plywood. So, but it was your basic rectangle bar that was served your purpose of people riding on it and putting their names and shit like that. But you know, you want to get one for your lounge or something that needs to be done up right.
Yeah, I just sent you the link. Nick's Tiki Bars, in case anybody is watching. So he's got a basic and L-shaped bar, $440, free shipping. You know, and you know, so it looks like that's about, you know, the majority of his bars. You know, $500 free shipping. You know, they're not finished. He's got some. He does a fire branding and then different tops and stuff like that, and then lighting and everything else. So he builds some, and then he's got looks like different woods that he can build them off. Yeah, he's got one, you know, $1,300, you know, custom. So he's definitely got $700, $800.
That 440. I mean, honestly, you sending this to me, if I saw a guy freaking building a freaking bar, an outside bar, custom, and it has lighting underneath it, and it's 450 free shipping, I would think it was a freaking scam.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I honestly would.
Yeah, I had to look more into it, you know, and check out his business and everything else, and yeah, beautiful bars. So Nick's Tiki Bars. Anybody listening or watching that wants to check them out, and talk to the guy. It's super cool guy. So we're gonna take some. We're actually gonna go to Home Depot and just buy some boxes. You know, all of the same size, you know, like 36 by 36 packing boxes, and we're gonna build a bar out of just boxes, just so we know like our size, how you know, build it inside there. That way, when we give them the measurements and everything else of what we want, you know, because we're gonna hang a couple of TVs on the front, so that'll be our advertising, so we don't have to worry about banners or anything else. You know, it'll just be, you know, a TV on the front just cycling through.
I like the box idea, because no matter what, when you measure it out, it never freaking it's never the same than when you actually put something of that volume, you know, or mass. Well, mass would be weight, but more of a volume, you know, and the space it takes up. Because you can sit there and go, well, let's do 8 foot by 3 foot by 2 foot. That should work well. And then when it comes in, you're like, what the fuck? It's too skinny or it's too big. You know, it's always good. He actually has his desk in here he's doing for $1,000. He does the looks like he does the carving of your logos in the top of the bar, top of the table.
Oh, I see that. I see the custom desk.
I wanted to do something like that for my desk, and you know, trying to find, like I said, someone local to do work like that, it's like pulling teeth. But I wanted to do that with the Stogie Road emblem on it, and use the wrought iron bottoms of antique sewing machines. Yeah. As the legs of the desk, and I just I may do that with the new place, but I love what he's done with this. But you know, it's not cheap. I just went out and bought. You know, I went to Home Depot and they had the $100 desks or the $90 desks sitting there, and I looked at them and I was like, I'll take 2 of them. I'll just be like Dwight. I made mega desk. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because it's metal frames and then also the wood on top, so it allows you to just keep adding on like a Lego set. Yeah. So it's just easier to do that, but this is pretty cool. I mean, yeah, like I said, we're gonna build it out of just boxes that way, because we don't know if we want an L shaped, if we want a straight, and then I like he puts heavy duty casters on everything, and Jess is like, why do we need casters? To make it easier to push a 1,000-pound bar out of the way. Why would we need to push it out of the way? But if it's an option, why not being able to just push it out of the way? You know, like I said, it opens up the space. We want to have a big event. We're not going to need the bar. Push the bar against another wall. You know, then, what if you drop it here and then a day later, you're like, you know what? I think it would look better on the other side of the room. Yeah. Oh, well, let me just grab a side. Yeah. Grab a side, 8 guys, you know, so, but yeah, so, I mean, we want to build it out of boxes and then
because we want, because at that point, like I said, on the show, I want her like beside me on most of the shows from now on. Even though she's not engaging, at least she's there. She'll have her own laptop. I'll have my own laptop. A microphone in between us, and want to have be able to store my laptop underneath the bar, so when it's not in use, just pull it out. So we've got a few custom things that we want to have them do. So
yeah, and that I think now will you be doing your show from behind the bar?
Yeah, so we'll be doing the show from behind the bar, and then like if I'm a guest on another show, that's the other side of the lounge. We'll have two big comfy chairs, so I'll be able to sit down, relaxed a little bit. I don't have to have a screen in front of me, so we'll be able to do that, and then we'll have another whole wall that'll have a cool backdrop, be like a little pub table, sitting up high. One or two chairs, I can, to have a couple different angles, and then all of our camera equipment will be on an AV cart, so it'll just be a cart. It'll have the monitor, which is in front of me now. It'll be attached to the cart. The cameras will be attached to the cart. So when not in use, fold everything up and then just push the AV cart out of the way.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering how you're going to do that. I didn't know if you're going to have, I know you'll still have this studio here. So I didn't know if you would have a separate area for your recordings and then have the bar, because you didn't want electronics around a bar, what have you. Because as you said, I mean, if everything's custom made, you could really make a nice custom studio working area and have your laptop mounted and exactly how you want it, whether it's using wrought iron, wood, or whatever, and then everything else with lighting.
Oh yeah. That's it. So it'll be, so we'll be able to, so we'll do the show from behind the bar. We'll have some cool backdrops, and then I don't have to worry about signage behind me for advertisers, everything else. The front of the bar will have, like a 50-inch TV, mounted to the front of the bar. And then I'll just have, a stick plugged into it. I'll have several of them like for the show, and it'll just be the advertiser will have a full screen.
Yeah.
It'll cycle through every few seconds, so we don't have to worry about any of that anymore. Not running commercials before, during, after. It'll just constantly be cycling through.
And you have good cameras, because I remember when when I first started here and I was over in the corner, I had an old 32-inch television mounted in the back. And the problem was my camera was not the highest of quality. So when things were on the TV, you couldn't see it clear. And I actually had to take my logo that was white at the time and invert it and make it black with a white outline so you could actually see it.
Yeah.
Because as I tried to do advertising, like you're saying, the camera, it was just a big blur, or it was like a big blotchy, square of light.
Oh yeah, and then you got, then there's like little things we may have to upgrade our cameras, hopefully not, because it's also got to match the frame rate of the TV. If
exactly,
not, you'll get a flicker. If the camera and the TV aren't on the same frame rate, so in order to get those, so you don't get that flicker, so
I think I think the camera on the laptop, there's a ugly flicker, but then when we use the external camera, it just looked like a big blur, just like a big blur of light. So that's why we had to invert it. So those obviously using the right camera allows you to pick up what's on the television and have it nice and clear.
Yeah. So we'll, so there's definitely lots of things that will work out, so hopefully it'll be right around, a time that, that we'll have, a little break from the show. Normally we do a little, a 3-week hiatus in the summertime and then at the end of the year. So hopefully we can plan, the little hiatus right around the time to where, get everything in the new office, get everything set up, and then take a couple of weeks of prep, to make sure everything is good. So
that makes sense.
But, but like I said, I mean, when we moved into this studio, I had to be in here and filming, when we came back from our winter break, so we had like a 2-week time, and the edition wasn't done yet. It hadn't passed final, and then they're doing all the some of the inspections, and I talked to the inspector, and I go, I have to be in here. I go, I've got to be filming in here in 2 weeks. I said, I can't, I've got contracts, I got everything else. I go, I know everything's not done yet. Can I move into this office? And he goes, yes. He goes, as long as you don't move into the bedroom, it's not a living space because it hasn't passed final yet. And he goes, yes, I'll make a note that, you're allowed to be in this office. And we spent like 2.5 weeks scrambling to get everything in here, trying to get lighting. And yeah, it was a pain, but luckily with the new office, we don't have to be in there. So we can spend the time to get everything
right
just perfect. Because like I said,
cool,
yeah, it'll be interesting.
Exciting times.
Yeah.
It'll be nice when all that comes together. It's I know we talked about it before with people who want to do shows and people who want to do, cigar reviews or do a show that, it takes up a lot of time and it takes up a lot of money. It does. And, it's, you got to be willing to have that commitment, and it's going to cost a lot of money out of your own pocket. I mean, it's nice to have sponsors. It's great to have sponsor money. I get all that. But at the end of the day, in order to get to get the sound, the sight, and the environment the way that you want it or the way it should be, it does take a lot of effort.
It does.
You just can't fucking cash. You just can't freaking mail it in.
Yeah, we see some of these shows that are out there, and there's some fantastic people or fantastic shows that have great setups.
Yeah.
Like Dojo has a fantastic setup. They got a whole studio set up. Then you got other people. It's like you just got to wonder what their advertisers are thinking. And it's like, hey, we've been paying you a lot of money for like 2 years now, and like your audio still sucks.
Yeah,
your camera still sucks. Why can't we hear or see you? What are you doing with this money? What is going on? It's just I don't get it.
Neither do I. I mean, when you've been doing it consistently for a period of time and you're getting paid to do it for a period of time, if there is no motivation to improve things, then I start to question it, a lot. And I always use it for example, and just from where we were when Duncan and I first started to this, and really this isn't. I don't want to say it's not much, but there's an effort to improve, and it's transitioned and made changes, throughout the years, but it was always trying to get to a higher level or to put out a better product, with no sponsors, with nobody. Yeah. I mean, it was just loving what we do.
I couldn't imagine it not having advertisers. We did a lot at the beginning on our own dime, but I also had a business, Cigarprop, that pay, so day job money kept the family, the house, the bills paid.
Yeah.
Cigarprop funded a lot of all of this. Now all the sponsor stuff pretty much goes back into, which a lot of people don't, I don't think they think about, so all the money, all the sponsors, it's better equipment, bigger equipment. So then you have, when you get those one-off, advertising deals or those one-off promotions, that's where you make your money. So your regular sponsors paid for all of your equipment, all of everything, and that's, so you broke even on that. But then those one-off deals, that's where the money's at,
Yeah.
So that's all profit, because now your lighting is already paid for, your camera, your sound, everything is done, so it's those one-off projects where you make the money on. And I don't think people see that. So
what you guys have done with your background, it takes a lot of money and a lot of time and bringing people in there to do the work. We've been limited here, but when we move into the new place, I already have like this is going to be my area, and already have thoughts and ideas of how I want my working area to be, what I want the Stogie Road Studios to look like, and how it's going to change, but it's going to change where it won't be a green screen. I mean, the green screen's nice and it is very convenient to be able to pop up a green screen, especially if you're doing something silly like this, or if we're doing the bullies and we're doing the show, and you can always change your background to whatever you're talking about, and I'll make sure that I always keep that green screen. But I love your background, and I even years ago, we go to that Restoration Wood or whatever here in Greenville, South Carolina, looking at all the stuff they have available, and they'll mix and match different types of distressed woods. They'll do all sorts of stuff. So there is definitely something that's in my mind that I want to do for the new studio, and it will be permanent. It will be permanent.
Yeah, and green screens are nice. There's shows that do green screens, but there's something just about having, like real wood that adds depth. It just adds a look. Now we're gonna have a green screen as well. I'm gonna put it on a hospital curtain, like a curtain track, to where I can just push it out of the way. You won't ever see it. But if I have a one-off, like a Zoom event that I do every now and then, just drag that green screen, clip it tight, and then have a background, have something cool and wacky, if I want to do it, but if not, like I said, have it closed, and, just something having a nice, background that actually has depth, to it, which makes it nice. I mean, we were in the studio for a year. It was a year to the date, because remember, like I said, second week of January, 2019, like I said, we moved in, and then when we took our winter hiatus of that year, 3 weeks, gutted everything, ripped everything out, and in 3 weeks put up, what we had. And I built all of these, shutters myself, and it's.
Well, I like you. I've always liked the live background. I used to have, when I was in a corner, I had the older refrigerator. I had the signage up. I had the TV behind me. Even when I had the blends that were made in canvases behind me, I always liked that because there is something different. Like you said, there is something a little bit more personal and homey when you have something like that. Green screens are nice and convenient. Even now, I have the green screen on a rod, and they're mounted on 2 screws. I just got to take them, remove them from the mount, and then roll it up. And then there's an area down below on the ledge where it stays, and then I have my normal background. Then when I want it, I just pull it right back up and pop it up there. And I'll do something similar to that in the new place. Like you said, you have it just kind of slide across, which is always nice as well. But it needs to be just, done where it can be hidden, but also can be easily accessible if needed and necessary. And we got this with our lighting equipment. God, Jennifer got me this maybe 3-4 years ago. It was like $85.
Yeah.
2 big box lights. The ring light. We also have another light that opens up and has got the foil in it for photography.
Yeah.
The big, you got the metal stands, and everything else. Didn't cost much. Just put in an effort.
Yeah, put in an effort. Yeah, we just got the lighting in for the lounge. I bought that. We got 12 recessed can lights that articulate 180 degrees. They're gimbals, so they are, and then they rotate 360 degrees. They articulate 180. We'll have 12 of those in the ceiling. Every 3 will be on their own switch, so we have 4 different switches, so I can shut off each individual. I can control the Kelvin of the light, where it goes from bright white to blue to orange light. But yeah, you just live and learn. Those 12 lights were $1,000.
Yeah.
For 12 recessed lights.
Yeah. But you're going to have the perfect lighting based on, you'll never have lighting where it's too bright or too
Yep.
dark.
Yep, that's it. You know, because we didn't want, like it's nice to have like what you have, like with the lights pointing down at you with the big soft boxes. Those are nice, but I don't want to break those down. Every to for an event they're in the way. So yeah, it's just it's never ending.
No, and for what you guys are building, it makes sense to have the lighting built in that will accommodate and allow you to have the proper lighting for the show.
Yeah, if it was just a studio, it makes sense to have a couple of stands, soft boxes, and just have them right where you want it, and because it's just a studio. That's all. It won't ever be anything else, so it makes sense to have that.
Yeah, and it'll be nice too because you'll be able to light up your whole lounge, so you'll always have the proper lighting. Whether you're looking at you guys behind the bar, you're looking at people sitting in the lounge relaxing, and that's what we'll be looking at in the future with the new place on what we're going to do with the Stogie Road studio allocated space that's been given to me.
Yeah. So are you going to be in? Do you have a big garage in the new house?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just going to do the same thing you did here. You're going to have a dedicated like little lounge space.
Yeah, I mean there's a couple of ideas being kicked around. I mean, there's a small finished room over the garage. That may be it, but I realized, I was like, your clothing's in the closet next to it. After one cigar, you're gonna freaking kick me out. Let's just be smart about it. There's a window in the garage too, which is really nice as well for this particular garage. So, and there's also room in the back and off to the side to add on for future. But right now, with the way it's laid out, we will have a storage area in the garage, and they already have elevated wooden platforms that you can store on top and below, which will be huge. And most of our stuff will be stored there. And then from that point, I have a certain area that I'm going to be using for the lounge. So I'm going to definitely make sure that the lounge is in there with all the stuff that I have here, in the lounge. It's all packed up, but then also have my desk in the studio in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be nice.
It'll be interesting. I mean, there's and of course, I never took a picture of the garage when we were in there, and I'm like, why didn't I do that? Could I get a better idea? But it'll be nice to have the window too, because that window really changes. It's like ventilation is a game changer. There's a difference between having a window that you can open up and get ventilation versus opening up a whole big garage door. It also helps out too when you're, keeping the room cool. And this garage, the new place, it looks like it has some good insulation, so you can actually do that. So there's a few ideas floating around, but until it's 100%, I usually don't like putting ideas down until it's until
you're in the space. You can actually just sit down and ventilate. Like you said, ventilation is the key. We've got in the new edition, we'll have 3 Rabbit Air A3s. Like what you have behind there. So we're gonna have 3 of those in the lounge, and we're gonna have 2 inline duct fans. I've got one above me now, but like I said, I can't turn it on because you can actually hear it sucking. You can't hear the motor. You can actually hear that sucking air. So we're gonna have 2 inline duct fans. That should be able to replace every drop of air in that room, like every 8 minutes.
Right.
It should. But now they'll be farther away. So now when we're doing a show, I can have the inline duct fans on, which I don't have too much of an issue with smoke buildup. If Jessica and I are in here smoking a few cigars, especially if we're doing a show, we can't have everything loud. But yeah, it's just doing it right, not having a bathroom fan, right above you, which is absolutely ridiculous.
It's definitely not ideal, especially when you have that kind of smoke output. The one thing I thought about is with the storage area, right? I was telling you about how they built platforms, is looking at that and going, okay, we could add a few more 2x4s and create a frame structure and just hang drywall and then store the stuff behind the drywall, and now you have a wall.
Yeah.
So and that could be done relatively inexpensive, and now you've created a room environment. Now you've created a room environment, and that's kind of where I'll be looking at with the garage, is not just having a garage that opens up with a desk in it and a lounge. It will be the lounge. You know?
And then airflow. Bones just messaged me the other day. Maybe it was last night. It was probably 2 days ago, asking about like a air purifier for his garage, 2-car garage. Like, what's the best air purifier? And I'm like, well, I mean, you're thinking small, and that's what everybody does. It's like, oh, I'll just put an air purifier in. Well, I mean, the Rabbit Air, I mean, you obviously, it's right behind you. The A3, it does an absolutely fantastic job, but it can't pull. I know where your door is coming into the garage. If you're smoking by the door, the Rabbit Air can't pull the smoke from 25 feet away. So I told Bones, I said, 2-car garage, you're going to need at least 1, if not 2 ceiling fans.
Yeah.
Got to get the smoke to that window, like you were saying. It has to. Got to get it to the window. You got to get it to the Rabbit Air. You got to get it to the exhaust fan.
Mm-hmm.
That smoke has to get to, that spot. It just can't, obviously, smoke just goes up.
Yep.
It just
hangs there.
It just hangs there. The Rabbit Air can't suck it, from 25, 30 feet away.
Yeah.
It needs a little help, as good as it is, so
even smoke eaters are above where the smoke is.
Yes.
It is mounted where the smoke is, and it has a fan to draw the smoke in, so then it can purify the air. This isn't fucking Bugs Bunny where you smoke and it freaking attracts the smoke over and then purifies it.
Yeah.
Or you need to locate it somewhere more appropriate. Like here, it's located because this is where I do all my smoking.
Yeah.
If I did all my smoking in the lounge, this would be relocated over in the lounge.
Yep.
And done appropriately. So, and it looks beautiful too. So it's not an eyesore. It doesn't look like a freaking big piece of machinery. It looks like a piece of art.
Yeah, and I like that one, especially with the new mounting bracket that they have on the back versus the A2, the old one. They have the 4 pins.
Yeah.
So you can mount it straight up. You can mount it sideways. You can mount it upside down. Which is great because in the new lounge, like I said, we're going to mount them upside down. So then like the magnetic base, you just that way we can walk by and we can hit the buttons from the bottom.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make any difference. But yeah, like you said, you've got to get that. You got to get the smoke to the smoke eater to do its job. That's why I said in a good lounge, like you said, it's hanging on the ceiling in the middle.
Yep.
As the smoke comes up, it can suck it in.
Yep.
That's what it does.
Yeah, and if you have ceiling fans, you oscillate those fans to draw the smoke up as well, to keep it out of everybody's freaking face. And then as that smoke oscillates up, or those fans oscillate and bring the smoke up, it takes it right to the fan.
That's what we did here. Like I said, we knew we were smoking here. We started off with just a Rabbit Air. Then we realized the same thing. Okay, so it's not drawing it up. So we put the fan right in the middle. And then we had it going backwards, so it sucks it up. And then we just sat underneath here and smoked underneath of it and then watched where it went. It's like, okay, so it's pulling it up and it's kicking it straight over there at an angle. All right, let's put the Rabbit Air there.
Yep.
So now the fan draws it up and it fires it straight at the Rabbit Air.
Yep.
And then it works.
You got to experiment. You just can't plop it somewhere and hope that it does its job.
That's it. And then we hired an AC company to come in and put the inline duct fan in, and they basically they put an exhaust or an AC vent in, so they put that in first. We kind of tested the smoke, like, okay, so here's the perfect place. You got one dead area right here where the smoke is congregating, where the fan's not hitting it. So obviously we're going to put the inline duct fan here, so whenever the fan doesn't kick over to the Rabbit Air, the inline fan will catch the one dead area.
Yep. And that's how you have a nice clean atmosphere.
Yep. That's how you not just put a bathroom fan in and just we'll just but this bathroom fan says it moves 1,000 CFMs, and all right,
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Just whatever.
You're smoking cigars. You're not taking a smelly dump
You're not. Yeah.
in a small room.
That's it.
That's it, man. That's it. You gonna take us out?
Yeah. All right. I'm Broadleaf Bully Kevin.
I'm Broadleaf Bully Kerr. And remember, bullies make
good friends.
From Kev, Jess, Kerr, and Jen, we are the Broadleaf Bullies. Thank you for joining us, and remember, bullies make good friends.